Welcome back to the Milwaukee Show, and today we're talking about the brand new coach of the New Jersey Devils. Welcome, Sheldon Keefe. Well, I guess he's over here, Sheldon Keefe. Anyways, he is joining the Devils as the head coach of the New Jersey team, and is this the answer? Is this the match made in heaven or hell for this organization? So, the Devils last season, right? Not as in the one that just ended, as in a year ago. This last season, they have a breakout year with Jack Hughes breaking records for the team, with having some standout guys. Nico Hischier finally playing for a good team, you know. They get Hamilton onto the squad, right? They've got a lot of good depth down the wings with Hala. Just a lot of good players on this stacked team. So much offense. The defense is a little shaky, but they got some good guys back there that can carry a load. To go into the playoffs with this fine goaltender, and then they win the first round against their rival, the New York Rangers. They beat them up 4-2 series win. They move on to the next round, and they have a good fight, but they end up losing to the Hurricanes. So then this year, everyone's like, including me, is like, okay, so the defense, they had to shed a couple of guys for some cap stuff. They bring in They've shed a couple guys, right? And they have Timo Meier for the playoffs, you know. Like, they got a lot of good things going for them. I mean, they got Timo Meier for the whole year now, not just the playoffs. They got a lot of good things going for them. There's a couple question marks, sure, but they definitely still have, like, the team that they could win with intact. And then they suck. I mean, it's just a mid-year. They fail. They miss the playoffs. Not by a ton, but they missed the playoffs, and they just looked so bad. Now, what were the issues with this year, right? Number one, anyone would say it is goaltending, right? Goaltending of Vanacek, goaltending of Schmid and Dawes. Like, every one of the number of goaltenders that they had going for them this year was just not the answer, right? It just was not. They were not the guys to carry the load. It was just a horrible year for goaltending. Also, the defense is pretty weak. They had to take a step down. They had to shed some guys away from the team, from guys like Ryan Graves. They had to lose a couple of those good, like, depth guys, those good, just solid, like stay-at-home defensemen, those stingy defensemen that you always need to win games with, but they have to lose a couple of those guys due to cap space, right? But then, not just that, but then injuries. Injuries knocked out guys like Jack Hughes at the beginning of the year, a lot of injuries. Dougie Hamilton didn't play a lot of the season, so, and then you could tell, I think Timo Meier was hurt at the beginning of the year. A lot of bad injuries to a lot of important players of the team really handicapped them at the beginning, and then they just never got on track from then because of the coaching of Lindsey Ruff. He just gave him a rough time to play with, right? He keeps guys like Simon Nemec in the lineup. He just never really changes the lines. He never does anything to really try to spark anything new for the team. They change them to get their old ways of last season. So they end up missing the playoffs this year, and now here we are. He's fired, and Sheldon Keefe is coming in. So, does Sheldon Keefe solve the issues of this team? No. Does it make them better? I believe so. Sheldon Keefe has been the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, a supremely skilled team with a lot of upfront superstar guys that can put points on the board and can carry a load, right? And they are looking to play good games, win games, like a young, feisty team that is looking to carve a career, right? That is what he had in Toronto with Tavares. I mean, Tavares isn't the young guy, but with Tavares on his way out, with Austin, well, on his way out, you know what I mean, out of the prime of his career, Austin Matthews trying to be the best goal scorer of all time. You've got Mitch Marner being that young Toronto boy. You got Morgan Riley back there, William Nylander. Like, he's used to these, like, superstar talented, skilled offense teams, right? That's what he's been coaching the last 6 years. And under his helm, the Maple Leafs were successful in the regular season. There's no doubt about that, right? And that's what Toronto fans always said, that this was going to be their year, because in the regular season, if it was just based off that, they'd be like a pretty good runner-up to the Stanley Cup if it was all based off that, but they never can get over the hump, of course, of the playoffs. Now, of course, the Maple Leafs are not Sheldon Keefe's fault that they're not a complete team, but there is a difference that I saw on Instagram. There was this one reel that they showed like for boys, right? The coach of boys, and it was Sheldon Keefe going like, "All right, boys, we gotta get things done. We gotta go out there. We gotta win." And then they showed, it wasn't Tortorella, but, it was Paul Maurice, and he's like, okay, let's go, boys. We gotta go out there. We know we're gonna win. You don't play good, you sit down. That's how we play. You get the idea that he's the one that's going to rise him to the occasion. But there is a difference in atmosphere between a team like Florida versus a team like Toronto or New Jersey. New Jersey definitely has a lot more of a spirit, a lot more fun attitude to the game, right? And it's shown to be pretty effective last season. So the question is, does that coaching style benefit them going into this year? I think so. But there's definitely still changes, like to the Toronto Maple Leafs roster, that need to be changed, or they're going to handicap Sheldon Keefe again, right? Because Sheldon Keefe under Toronto, it was not completely his fault. No one would ever say that it was Sheldon Keefe's complete fault that they lost the Stanley Cup at playoffs every year. Of course, he doesn't win any series, but that's a whole other thing. But the whole issue is that with that team, they never had good defense, horrible depth, and goaltending was unreliable. And sure, you can say Samsonov was great or something like that, but no, No. You're just wrong about that. But so right now, the New Jersey Devils, they have $18.8 million. Well, 18.8, 93.9 something, right? But $18.8 million. They got to re-sign Dawson Mercer, which is a big one. He's probably going to take... He wasn't that great this year, but last year was pretty good for him. So to me, I see him getting probably like a short deal based on him, probably like 3, 4, 5 million. I think 5 would be too much. If they give him like a 2-year, $4 million deal to earn himself, I feel like that's still a little pricey. But Dawson Mercer, I believe in. So Dawson Mercer is going to get re-signed. But then after that, Cal and Nolan Foote, what are they going to be costing right now? DeSimone, probably let them walk. Dawes and Schmid, probably keep one of those, but neither of them are going to take that much money. Ty Smith in the background, I guess you might want to keep him around. And then Kaapo Kahkonen, I feel like you have Jake Allen still on the team, so I would probably keep him over Kaapo Kahkonen, but whatever. Regardless of anything, if they even sign all these people, they still will have a chunk of change left, I believe, to sign some more players. So, to me, offense, clearly not the issue, right? Not the issue as long as guys like Hughes, Meyer are all healthy. Meyer hopefully if Meyer underneath a Sheldon Keefe regime feels like that might be more of a recipe to have him be successful. He's been, being a San Jose Sharks fan myself, I know what Timo Meyer can bring to the table. He has not been himself in New Jersey. So maybe underneath Sheldon Keefe's role, maybe that'll let him be a little bit more free. Maybe, I don't know. Feel like that could be definitely an improvement for them. But the offense is not the issue. Defense is. But they have a lot of good young defensemen that could step up. Guys like Casey, guys... Casey Seamus, I always forget his stupid freaking name, but him, Nemec, they have a couple of guys back there. Hamilton will be healthy the whole season. They have some good names that are going to be on this team, right? Siegenthaler is still here. He's a fine defenseman back there. So defense is definitely still an issue, but the biggest hole for this team is goaltending, right? That is the biggest hole. And right now is probably the biggest goaltending market I have ever seen in the years that I've been truly watching the NHL. Because Ullmark is going to be moved out. You've got UC Saros, and both those guys, 2 goaltenders that are definitely seeming like they are on their way out of their cities. $5 million each for 1 more year. That's all those guys cost. And the Devils will definitely, no matter how they sign these guys, will have that kind of change left. So to me, those signings, and then a team like the Boston Bruins, who are definitely not going to go into a real rebuild, but a bit of a recession, I guess, a little bit of a retooling, could use a guy like Simon Nemec if they trade him away. And goaltenders always go for cheaper, and especially for a team like the Bruins, who just kind of need Ullmark off the books and are not going to trade it to a team that needs a goalie like the Maple Leafs. I feel like Ullmark and the Devils feel like a trade that could definitely happen. It's different divisions, so that wouldn't really hurt the Bruins that much. So to me, that makes sense, and the Devils definitely have some pieces that they can send the Bruins' way. UC Saros, I don't know if they're going to move him away really from Nashville. I'm not totally sold on him anymore with what Barry Trotz is doing over there, so... He's a little bit I'm iffy on, and I don't know what that... But for the Predators, they're definitely a team that are trying to stay in a play good now mode, but yet still have some good tradable pieces. So they getting some draft picks from the Devils plus maybe a young defenseman could be nice for the Nashville Predators. I could see that happening too. But guys like Philip Gustafsson, $3.8 million for 2 more years. This team's going to be good for a little while. At least the offense is. So having a goaltender that's going to stay around for a little bit longer definitely feels like a nice way to get someone. Gibson, he's from Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh, not the farthest away cities in the world. He definitely gets to go back east, play for a team that actually could give him a chance to contend. However, issue is $6.4 million for 3 more years. That might be a little bit hard for the Devils to buy into, but I definitely think that he would be worth those numbers, but I don't know about that. But I definitely think the Ducks, well, the Ducks, they're also trying to look to start winning now too, so maybe a guy like Dawson Mercer is the guy they give up to save some money. So maybe, and then they try to send that money towards a guy like Steven Stamkos potentially. I don't know. Seems like a deal that also could try to make sense. But then Markstrom was the big one last year that everyone was talking about. $6 million for him, 2 years left on his deal. Him going there, like, I feel like that makes sense. But regardless of anything, the Devils have the pieces. They have pieces that they can move around and put together a team that Sheldon Keefe can actually put together and have a good roster to win with, right? I feel like Lindsey Ruff last year, he had a roster that he did win with. Of course, things changed. Things went down for him. Like, of course, he wasn't handed the best hand of cards in the world to win with. But Lindsey Ruff, to me, definitely isn't, like, the coach that I'm going to say he's the best, you know? So, to me, oh, that's funny. Like, pointed to Keefe there. So, I feel like has a chance to prove himself here in New Jersey. I think New Jersey definitely is a home ground for him to call home and is going to allow that fun environment. I think these kids like Jack Hughes definitely need like a more of a relaxed coach, more of a coach that is going to allow them to play, let them have more fun on the ice. I think Jack Hughes out there with Heischer and Meyer, and if Mercer stays on the team, which I think he should, like they've got a lot of good pieces on this team. This squad looks brilliant, and I think they really could do some damage this year. And they should have last year, but a lot of bad things happened to keep them down, which made sense. But this year, no matter what, as long as injuries don't kill them again, feels like this will be a bounce-back year no matter what for this team. So I'm excited to see what happens with the New Jersey Devils. There's a lot of good things going for them, and I think the future is still bright with this team. I said it, I made a video last year talking about this team as a dynasty, and I truly still believe that. I just think they needed to find the coach, which I feel like they kind of did now. And I feel like, I just feel like Sheldon Keefe is a good signing for this team. I know everyone's always against like the coaching carousel, but I think Sheldon Keefe definitely is not a horrible coach. And I do believe that he is going to be at least a bright side to the New Jersey Devils. But that is all I got to say. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I am begging you, please subscribe. Please. Until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.